guys, it's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. What a wild and insane 24 hours that we just had for Bitcoin. But honestly, guys, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
So having a look right here, Bitcoin essentially broke out of this pattern and we had a cascading tumble. Now, there were potentially a few reasons why this might have happened. We didn't actually get down to my lowest target of 29,364. I actually had this number in the Telegram group. I was explaining these were the levels that we're looking at. However, we did hit the first level of 31,246, and currently we are sitting above that. However, we're not quite out of the woods just yet. We did see some buyers coming in right here, and we did see the volume that I've been looking for now for quite some time. Unfortunately, it was on the sell side. So what would really be nice to see is sort of a green candle following, something like this. Maybe this green candle comes up here, we push this price, we get kind of that V-shaped recovery. But inevitably, guys, like I said, we are not out of the woods just yet. Fear and greed today is at extreme, dark, deep red fear. No surprise, right? Sitting at around 10. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff in today's video. First of all, I want to talk about what the heck actually happened, what caused it, what was going on with the UST situation, getting depegged, falling down into the 60 cents region. So we're going to talk about the good, we're going to talk about the bad, we're going to talk about the ugly, and of course, we know that tomorrow is the release of the CPI data. Most are estimating it to be around 8.1%. If it's around that ballpark, markets should react accordingly, which would be neutral to positive. If it's lower, definitely positive. And if it's higher, well, let's hope it's not higher, right? Because then the Fed is most certainly going to continue to raise their rates, although I do call BS on that. But I also do want to talk about yesterday's video. We were talking about the margin call from hell. Well, it looks like Michael Saylor himself may have actually come out and just eased all of our worries. So, of course, we're going to talk about the short-term price action. You guys know what we do on this channel. Thank you again for all your support. Thank you for coming back. Today's video, a little bit shorter than usual. Really just want to go over what happened yesterday. But if you're not subscribed, consider it. And without further ado, let's dive in. And obviously, don't forget to turn on the bell notification. Now, interestingly enough, because yesterday's video came out very, very early, so if you weren't expecting it, you didn't get that alert, and that was right before the dump really started, so that's why I put the emergency video out yesterday. I don't like to take advantage of the whole emergency video thing, but come on, guys, like, you saw what happened yesterday, right? So having a look right here, interestingly enough, if we actually look at what happened over here, you could see that, yes, we did come down. And interestingly, if I actually go back to this Binance chart that I had pulled up about a week ago, I stopped looking at this chart. Why? I don't know, because these levels were absolutely perfect because we actually took the previous resistances and supports down here. And you could see that where we did have this big V-shaped bounce right back here in July of last year is also exactly where we bounced right here. So very, very interesting. Now, if I zoom in even further, actually check this out. This is actually pretty incredible. You can see that not only did we actually have virtually a perfect bounce off that level right here, but we also had rejection at the next level here. So the problem right now is that Bitcoin is actually fighting a lot of resistance. There's much more resistance than there is support at this point. Now, you could argue this is the best potential time to buy. I'm not saying I disagree at a 50% discount, but I am saying that there is a lot of resistance. And one of the ones that's going to really be the big kicker is this original line right here, right? Where we had this resistance, flip support here. And look at this, guys. Again, support, finally fell through it. So I do think that there is a possibility to at least come up here and try to tag around this $35,700 level. Obviously, another reason that I believe that that is a possibility is because right here, we have the CME futures gap, right? So the CME futures gap is a meme. It's a bit of a meme, right? Which actually came very close to where we had expected the CME futures to go. Didn't quite hit our targets. Most of our targets got missed by literally just like $50. It was crazy, guys. But I guess this is how the markets are, right? They never get to the levels you expect them to get to. But ultimately, I do think that we are going to close the CME futures gap. And interestingly enough, this gap is actually right on line with that heavy overhead resistance, which is why I do think that it's very possible, we do see Bitcoin come back up to that $35,500 area, right? Now, obviously, a lot does depend on what is going to come out tomorrow as far as the, CPI reports are concerned. As I said, we do know that we are expecting around an 8.1% increase. Now, that's going to come out at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. So we're going to know about this before the markets even open, okay? So that is something very important to consider. But having a look at the chart right here, the one thing I want to point out is we are literally sitting at the absolute last possible support of this formation. Not to scare anyone, but as you can see right here, taking this long-term historical trajectory right here from the 2017 top, we already lost this one right here, but obviously that was the shorter historical trend. This is the longer historical trend, and you can see it was resistance support here, massive support here, and currently, if I actually zoom in right now, you could see that although we did have this fake out wick below it, currently at the time of making this video, we are in fact sitting above it. So I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do. This is the area for, potentially if you were looking to put in a long on the relief bounce, this is the area right here to take, right? So if you guys want to learn how to do this, check out the tutorials popping up above, $16,000 in bonuses below. But ultimately, guys, if we do lose this level, it's probably not going to be very good for Bitcoin. And right now, structurally, Bitcoin is looking pretty scary for the sort of midterm, right? Short term, I do think we're due for a bounce at this point. It's incredibly oversold, and I do think it's possible to get back up to that $35,000 level. But, actually, like Miles J. Creative pointed out, he said, we arrived at the 0.786. Historically, this is a good level for buying if you have the onions for it. So, I mean, yeah, if you're looking at this long-term trajectory and you're looking at this, different levels, then yeah, according to this would be the area. I mean, but keep in mind, you could sit around there for a little bit. It could be a very slow crawl, right? So it's not saying that we're going to have a massive bounce overnight. But what I wanted to show you guys is actually what we've now formed, that we've fallen out of this, is sort of a giant descending wedge, falling wedge pattern, right? Now, falling wedges are technically bullish patterns, right? They do tend to break out to the upside, but I do want to point out that if we actually just take this level right here, I have this dotted line drawn, you could see that this is a very, very important level for Bitcoin to get above. That's around 37,500. So I did say that $35,000 is potential for Bitcoin, 35,500, if this bounce does play out. If tomorrow the CPI numbers come out, the stocks start falling, well, guess what, guys? Bitcoin's going to fall too, and then we can just throw the TA out the window, because right now we're just kind of hanging on what happens with the Fed. But if all goes according to plan, then honestly, I don't see why we couldn't have a bounce. If the bounce takes longer, then we don't even have to worry about this resistance. If it's a quick bounce, then yeah, we're going to hit this resistance right here and this resistance right here. Now, if we do break out of this, that's actually short-term pretty bullish, guys, but let's take it a day at a time. Ultimately, we are in fact sitting at the bottom. We did in fact get that support on the falling wedge. We did get the volume coming in, albeit it was mostly sell-side volume. But nevertheless, guys, I do think that we are due for a bounce personally. The only downside, like I said, is, we are still being very connected, very integrated with these stocks, and a lot of the traditional players are waiting to see what happens tomorrow, which is why we're seeing this actual, it's sort of an uncertain market opening so far, right? It's kind of just hanging out sort of right in the same area. The futures were actually expecting it to be a lot more green than it was today. But it's the opening of the day, guys. We've seen markets open traditionally. They'll have the dump, like this candle right here, for example, right? Opened here, came all the way down, and then we went on for 2 more days of green, right? And keep in mind that Bitcoin has already put in 6 red weekly candles. We only did that one time ever before in Bitcoin's history. I showed you in my video yesterday. That was way back in 2014. So historically speaking, we should be due for at least a green candle close this week. If not, well, then Bitcoin would actually end up doing something that it's never, ever, ever done before in the whole history of Bitcoin, which is close 7 weekly red candles, which would be pretty crazy considering even as the mania of 2017 bursted, we still didn't see 7 red weekly candles. So that is something to just pay attention to. Statistically, it probably is something we shouldn't happen, but there's always a first for everything, right? But you know who did buy the dip? El Salvador just bought the dip, 500 coins at an average price of $30,744. So congratulations, El Salvador, for being a true hodler and buying the dip. And also in yesterday's video, we talked about, someone from the, team came out and said that they would have a margin call in the $21,000 area. Michael Saylor said he just came out with this today, by the way. This was like an hour ago from the time I'm filming this video. He says MicroStrategy has a $205 million term loan and needs to maintain $410 million as collateral. MicroStrategy has 115,100 Bitcoin that it can pledge. If the price of Bitcoin falls below 3,562, the company could post some other collateral. So he's saying, don't worry, hope this clarifies the FUD. We can handle it. We don't need to answer to the margin call. And he's saying that the level is 3,562 that he would really have to start worrying about. Now, obviously, this is just a tweet. You guys can read this. I don't feel like going into this today. This is just what he said. We could take it for face value. If somebody wants to go and do the research, have fun. But essentially, this is what they're saying. He's posting this publicly. So we'll have to take the man's word for it, right? Another thing, too, talking about is even during these times of uncertainty and panic selling and, inflation running rampant, trying to taper it down. Check this out. In an SEC filing today, Town Square Media, based in New York, which is interesting, right? New York, stated that during the first quarter of 2022, the company invested an aggregate of $5 million in Bitcoin. The company believes in the long-term potential of digital assets as an investment. It goes on to, do more quotes. They reported $50.9 million to cash and cash equivalents as of March 31st. So you're still seeing people bullish on crypto, bullish on the sector. There are actually more bullish things to talk about. Actually, what's funny is if we just talk about Bitcoin as a whole right now, everything is bullish. Everything is bullish about Bitcoin except for the price. The price is not bullish right now, but everything actually coming out about Bitcoin is in fact bullish. So that is something you need to consider. And finally, after the delay, Australia is going to welcome its first set of crypto exchange traded funds. These are spot driven. These are ETFs. The 3 new ETFs will be listed on the CBOE exchange Thursday, coming up in 2 days, to track the progress and performance of Bitcoin and Ether as well. And the securities crypto funds were developed in collaboration with Swiss-based ETF issuer 21 Shares. The alliance will allow ETF securities to run the products, while 21 Shares will provide operational and research support. So, we're seeing all the other countries, Canada, Australia. Come on, US. Come on. It's only a matter of time, guys. Now, we did talk about some conspiracy that maybe they're trying to suppress the price until they approve the ETF, which would be backwards thinking. You would think that if the price was falling, they would get scared and say, no, we can't do this. It's too dangerous. We can't let people invest in this, right? But hey, no, look what they did at the all-time high for the 2017, literally like the next day. Right? We had the CME futures come out. And what did they do? They literally shorted the market for like 2 years straight, right? So maybe bullish thinking, right? Could be the other way around this time around, Just trying to sprinkle some happy sauce out there for you guys. I know it's been a little bit of a crazy, you know what? Let's not read into too much what happy sauce might mean, but let's talk about what's going on with the Luna Foundation, and let's talk about what happened yesterday. If you already know, feel free to skip forward. We will have our final thoughts, but that being said, it all started the night of Saturday, May 7th, when someone dumped $84 million worth of UST. Users started complaining about the suspicious withdrawals from Curve. So Do Kwon later took responsibility for removing liquidity, assuring users that everything was under control. He added, obviously, Terraform Labs has no incentive to depeg UST. Well, that ended up unfortunately happening anyway. It very quickly escalated, already down $3 billion on Saturday. UST's Luna back shed another $2 billion, and it ended up dumping yesterday, 11:45 a.m. We had it down to 77 cents on Kraken. Now, you had guys trying to arbitrage this. I wish I had the time in the day to do that, but unfortunately I didn't, guys. I actually had a lot going on yesterday, believe it or not. So I was not able to take advantage of this opportunity. If you did do some arbitrage, wow, good for you. So couple hours later, it went back up to 90 cents, 87 cents, but then eventually it collapsed all the way down to 62 cents on some platforms. During the liquidity cascade, a single wallet dumped $84 million in UST on the Ethereum blockchain. Do Kwon said the dump was not us and claimed to be hiring a professional market maker who can prevent UST depegging. The incident led to speculation of possibly deliberate market manipulation combined with short positions and negative tweets. Others cited simple technical analysis. Kwon chimed in with a reminder to ignore crypto Twitter and even poked fun at some social media influencers. So ultimately, there are lots of conspiracies that we could say, what is going on? What happened with this? Well, some people are saying maybe it was a conspiracy to depeg the stable coin because we know that the US is coming out potentially with some rules on stable coins. We know that that is one sector they are very, very specifically focused on, and they can use this as an example to say, see, look, it doesn't work. See what's going on? Now, I just want to point out there's a few things. There's two things I can say about this. Number one, this doesn't really provide a lot of confidence for UST because if you think about it, in a time of need, when you would actually need to actually be in a stablecoin would be during a market dump, a market liquidation cascade, a market capitulation event. And it did not perform the way it was supposed to. It should have been pegged to $1. It fell to 62 cents. This isn't my opinion. These are facts. This does not actually make us very, like I said, confident. And I don't know how they're going to recover from this. I wish them the best. I know that they're doing this, with a good heart and good spirit. But, that being said, I just want to also point out that, in my 5 years of trading cryptocurrency, I have actually been in a scenario, and I don't remember specifically, it was during one of those crazy, 30% daily dumps we used to get back in the good old days. I remember that USDT, Tether, actually went to 74 cents one time. So it has happened before. I have seen this happen before. And in all fairness, people still use Tether today, right? So essentially that was that situation. But I did just want to end on a little bit of cool news. According to data acquired by Finbold, the number of Bitcoin ATMs throughout the globe was around 34,340 as of January 1st, and now it's risen by 3,000. So we now have a total of 2,993 Bitcoin ATMs that were installed since the start of 2022, averaging 23 fitted daily. Given that the Coin ATM radar is tracking not all Bitcoin ATMs around the world, the true number might actually be significantly higher. So as I said, guys, this is sort of the new pattern formation to look at. And I did, go back here to my targets. I did say, 29,364 was sort of my last line of defense. I know some people said 28,000. We didn't even get to that level. So I don't know if eventually we're going to just head down to that level. It is possible. How much should we trust this bounce right now? It's kind of still hanging around the same areas. And personally, I really think tomorrow's just going to be the big day for the markets. So I'm just letting you be prepared. You can make your decision, do what you want. Don't do what I'm doing just because it's what I'm doing. I'm just a crazy guy on the internet. What do I know? But ultimately, guys, that is what we're looking at right now. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Tomorrow's going to be the big day, Stick around. Get subscribed if you're not. Turn on the bell notification. Yesterday, I posted my video at like 9 a.m. Eastern time, and most of you wait until, that lunchtime in the, so just turn on the bell notifications. Join the Telegram group if you want. I posted the numbers in there yesterday. If you guys are interested, you can check out the free Telegram group below. Totally free. You guys know I don't do any paid, I don't charge any money, nothing like that. So that's it from me, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day today. I love you. You're awesome. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the CPI reports. Fingers crossed, right? So that's it for me. You guys rock. And also make sure that you check out these videos popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.